Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you're an executive, an IT director, or a compliance officer, you already know that securing your organization's infrastructure is literally one of the biggest headaches you face today. Our mission right now, to totally flip how you look at that challenge. We're going to ditch that stressful, check-the-box compliance mentality and instead move toward a modern, continuous, evidence-based security model. It's going to be a game changer.
Okay, let's dive into this. We'll kick things off with the compliance gap, break down what CCaaS actually is, and explore this idea of muscle meets brain. After that, we'll focus on securing your cyber essentials and wrap up by mapping out the 365-day life cycle. So, part 1, the compliance gap. This brings us to a very real, very nagging fear for C-suite leaders everywhere. Passing an audit only to get breached the very next day. So, you've got to ask yourself, are you really secure, or are you just checking a box? For so many organizations, compliance is basically just a stack of paper. You've got policies, sure, but they are totally disconnected from the actual tech running your business. It creates this dangerous illusion of security. I mean, threat actors couldn't care less about your paper policies. They care about the open ports on your network. And this brilliantly illustrates why. The core problem is that outdated point-in-time risk model. It relies on static audits, which really means your certification kind of expires the second the auditor walks out the door. It's completely reactive. Vulnerabilities are often found by attackers way before your next annual scan even happens. The modern fix? A continuous solution. We're talking 365-day, 24/7 active validation using evidence-based GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. It relies on real-world technical proof, not theories, and honestly, it never sleeps. Moving on to part 2. What exactly is CCaaS? Well, it stands for Continuous Compliance as a Service. And let me tell you, it is the ultimate relief for compliance officers. CCaaS is a continuous security testing program that guarantees 365-day compliance. It constantly collects and manages the exact evidence you need for major frameworks, whether we're talking PCI DSS, SOC 2, ISO 27001, or Cyber Essentials. Just imagine bidding on new business and qualifying for major contracts without that chaotic last-minute scramble to find your compliance evidence. With this, the evidence is just always there, always ready to go. But it's not just about surviving audits, it's really about empowering leadership. CCaaS gives you these high-level, real-time dashboards for instant visibility into your overall risk and critical vulnerabilities. It cuts right through the technical noise and hands you pure business-level insights. So, as a strategic leader, you're making major risk decisions based on real-time, concrete data, not guesswork, and definitely not outdated spreadsheets. All right, part 3, muscle meets brain. Now, what's really interesting here is that executing a program this comprehensive requires a pretty unique approach. You need a strategic alliance between two distinct forces, Thruster Security and C3+ Limited. This isn't just some software you buy off the shelf. It is a dual-engine capability. It's a unified partnership that gives you a long-term alliance with absolute experts who stay with you every single step of the way. Because true cyber resilience, it needs two things working in perfect harmony. This isn't your standard governance and risk pitch where the technology is just tacked on at the end. It's exactly 50% active technical precision to actually find the holes in your defense, and 50% strategic alignment to manage that risk and navigate those tricky regulatory frameworks. So Thruster Security brings the muscle. They are your active technical defense. We are talking about a seriously enterprise-grade platform doing continuous threat mapping, automated vulnerability scanning across your endpoints and servers, and delivering real threat intelligence. They give you that proactive, round-the-clock attacker's eye view of your network, plus the hands-on engineering guidance you actually need to harden your cloud and infrastructure against modern attacks. And on the flip side, C3+ is the brain. They deliver the managed strategic governance. This is a hands-on consultancy team bringing elite expertise right to your doorstep, including CREST-certified testers and ISO lead auditors. They take all those technical findings, translate them into live audit-ready reporting, run your quarterly board meetings, and provide the high-level consultancy that ensures you are actively reducing risk and maintaining compliance, day in and day out. Let's head into part 4, securing cyber essentials. So Cyber Essentials, and specifically Cyber Essentials Plus, is a UK government-backed certification designed to protect organizations against the most common cyber threats out there.
That Plus designation, that means it's a higher assurance level, requiring an actual hands-on technical audit by an independent assessor. And for the IT directors tuning in, you already know that grabbing this specific badge is very often a hard, non-negotiable requirement if you want to qualify for those lucrative government or enterprise contracts.
This program rigorously prepares you for the 5 core controls: firewalls, secure configuration, user access control, malware protection, and patch management. And since it's powered by Thruster's technology, the testing is incredibly advanced. For example, they use industry-approved safe test files like EICAR and AMTSO to actively validate that your malware protection is genuinely blocking threats, rather than just sitting there dormant.
Let's see how this builds into a surprisingly manageable 4-step journey to absolute certification readiness. First up, scoping and discovery. This maps out your network boundaries and assets. Second, a gap assessment checks your environment against the exact requirements. Third, and this is huge, remediation support. You get actual practical guidance on fixing things like multi-factor authentication, patching, and access control. And finally, certification submission. They support you straight through the independent audit until that certificate is officially in your hands.
And finally, part 5, the 365-day life cycle. Because passing the audit, that's really just day 1. This timeline proves that under this model, defense literally never sleeps. On a daily basis, the system is doing continuous threat mapping and technical probing. Monthly, you get automated vulnerability reviews, malware tests, and prioritized remediation tickets sent right to your team. Quarterly, C3 Plus steps in for executive board reporting, external attack surface reviews, and phishing simulations. And then annually, because you've kept up this amazing hygiene all year long, your C3 Plus or ISO recertification is entirely frictionless. You are literally always audit ready.
So, the crucial point to understand here is the division of labor. The service providers, Thruster and C3+, do the heavy lifting. They configure the platform, run the automated testing, generate the reports, and give you prioritized guidance. But as the client, you're still an active partner. You've got to maintain an accurate asset inventory, provide the necessary system access, and crucially, your internal IT team has to actually implement those recommended remediation changes. Basically, they find the holes and tell you how to fix them, you just have to apply the patch. Which brings us to the core ethos of this whole explainer. Beyond the badge, continuous confidence. At the end of the day, a certificate is just a piece of paper. It's a snapshot in time, but true, continuous, 365-day security testing, paired with expert strategic governance, that is what gives you genuine peace of mind and a very real commercial advantage. I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. If a modern, motivated threat actor probed your network tonight, would your last annual compliance snapshot actually stop them? If the answer is no, or even if you're just not 100% sure, it is definitely time to evaluate your vulnerabilities. It's time to step away from the paper policies and build a stronger alliance with experts who can deliver continuous defense. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to reach out and explore how continuous compliance as a service can completely transform your organization.